Hey everyone, welcome to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. So please subscribe for free in the app of your choice. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening to be here. I am Tamara Ford and I love a good TV show and a good book, of course. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Recap Pods. If you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co-host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Tamara. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author, and I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. You can find me pretty much everywhere online at Lisa Orban Author.
All right. So before we get going, we just want to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you are listening live on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comment section. If you're catching this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform or you can call in using the SpeakPipe voicemail link in the show notes. We want to hear from you and possibly include your comments in the episode. So if you are new here, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yeah, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around. And of course, huge spoiler alert for everything through this episode, episode 10.
We could go ahead, but we do not. For integrity, for you guys, we only watch up to current because we know most of you guys, do tend to get AMC Plus, but not everyone does. So that's how we do it.
Right. So no spoilers from episode 11 because I know y'all out there have watched it. All right. If you're cool with that, we are cool with you. This is the place to be. Let's jump into it.
All
This
right.
is going to be fun, I think.
So what you think?
I like the episode a lot. We went 30 days past the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to see our crew in a new place.
Yes.
And I was digging it. I thought it kind of like had these vibes from the past when they were in other established places.
Yes.
Yeah,
Carol and the cookies. The cookie.
I know. Carol and her cookies. Don't let her bake. No.
Yeah. At least she's not doing flowers. And
Yes.
but I mean, I thought it was. I mean, you could all see they have these reminiscent of their pre-zombie life. Ezekiel was in the petting farm.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Carol's baking cookies. Daryl, as a switch up from prior to, is joining the military, and but and God, I can't remember her name now. Is back to being a waitress, and you can see she hates it.
Oh, Magna.
Yes. Oh God, she hates it.
Here's a shot of her pouring some wine, which they
Yeah,
were.
no, that was brought by Carol.
Yes.
And but yeah, I mean, and then we've got the brother that not Magna, but the lawyer, her brother, she outed.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. Her brother is back to being a doctor.
And he hates it. I mean, he in between drinks of wine, did you see his hand shaking?
He was outraged.
Well, it's not
And
even
he
just
was
outraged. I think part of the reason he didn't want to go back into it, I think he's got some PTSD kind of things going. I mean, as far as, being a doctor again, he's got the shakes. He's not looking good. It doesn't look like he slept very well.
right.
He did not want to be there.
No,
You
and we
know,
don't know honestly how much he's been drinking. I mean, we just
yeah.
assume he's had the 2 glasses we saw on camera, but
Plus,
maybe more.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be more.
she did
And
tell him, "Slow down,
yeah, well,
relax."
and you can see that, I mean, obviously, he gets extra perks being a doctor now. He gets to be in the party instead of outside watching it. But I really think he would really much rather be outside watching it.
Oh, absolutely. He would rather be, and there's probably a lot of reasons for that, not just because he doesn't love medicine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there are some issues that are going to be uncovered as far as, how this town operates. There's
Well,
clearly some, caste structure things going on here.
oh yeah. I mean, and there's a very, I mean, defined levels between people. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like there's not a lot of social mobility. Either you're at the top to begin with and you stay there unless you do something really bad and fall from grace. Um, but most people can't, if you're a server, then like the one woman next to Magna said, "Oh, my kids will never get melons.
Oh,
They'll
I
never have
know.
any of those things." And honestly, I gotta tell you, the Alexandrian people, the hilltop and everything else. I mean, it was share and share alike. Everyone, participated. Everyone partook. Everyone. If your basic needs weren't being met, it's because nobody's basic needs were being met. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But in this place, it's different. It's we're back um to being like the like it was before, and how it was before wasn't great for everyone.
Right. And how it was before is exactly what Pamela said in her speech. We're
Hmm.
trying to get back to how we were before. And before, like you said, was, of course, everyone with the money, everyone with the most education, their lives are very different from the
Hmm.
servers, the bus
Yeah.
boys, and, the military and everybody else. So it's like, well, it's like they'll have to worry about money again. They have a currency here.
Hmm.
It's it's going to be interesting to see how this revolution unfolds if it does at all.
Yeah. I mean, I did kind of find that interesting between the exchange between Carol and Daryl. And Carol's like, well, we don't have to work at it here. Everything's established. And he's like, you always have to work at it.
Hmm.
So, and so I'm watching this, and you could almost see all the people that came in from the Alexandria group. That it's more like they're not integrating as much as it is they're watching. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and
Especially Carol and Daryl, they definitely have the watch vibe about
mhm,
them,
and
and even a
I
little
think
bit Rosita, a little
yeah.
bit.
Well, and I think Daryl he's willing to stay there for the kids, and we talked about that last week. He seems to be willing to stay there for the kids, but he's very uncomfortable there, you know? And
Yeah,
I also noticed, did you notice that little exchange between the big leader and like, we need to have a talk about Alexandria,
yeah,
Um
yeah.
and I don't think that means anything good.
No, it never does, right? I mean, she's got a lot of things to worry about. She's like, are there thousands of people like this other waiter dude?
Mhm.
If they are, we got to do something about it. And then, of course, the Alexandrians. So
Right. Well, and I think,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I think her attitude is gonna be, if they do find out that there is more, it's not gonna be negotiations, it's gonna be trying to crush them under to so they never think about it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't think, I think she is a very well-dressed dictator.
You know what? I was thinking that as I was, looking at her outfit, and I'm like, okay, they must have here's her outfit, one of her outfits. I'm like, they must have like seamstresses and designers
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, how's she? Look at her. She looks put together. Well, they all do at this party,
Right. The
actually.
tuxedos, the suits,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, these are nice clothes.
Hmm.
And, it's been long, and I don't think that they're sneaking out to department stores and finding this stuff. I think, well, some of it they might be doing that, but I think a lot of it's, they're making it there on site. And,
You know what,
because again,
though?
there's
Even the small things, like, for example, like when Carol was handing out the cookies, she
mhm,
had like parchment wrap that she was taking out of a box and wrapping the cookie in to hand it to someone. I'm
mhm,
like, wow, who would think that would be around right now?
right.
Where do
Oh,
you
there's
get
a
that
lot of little
from?
things. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if I mean, some of this has gotta be there must have been a warehouse, like a distribution warehouse somewhere.
Mhm.
Some of it obviously they're making there on site,
Yeah.
and, but they can't be too big into manufacturing at this point just because, I mean, they've been there since the very beginning.
Right.
But even still, they don't have that much space for heavy industrial or, fabric creation or anything.
I mean, maybe there's a Joanne fabric store
Yeah.
that
Oh,
they
yeah.
are
Like I said,
pulling fabric from. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, and I get the feeling that basically anything of worth had been locked up, by her father when they first established the place and
Yeah.
has been doling these things out.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
think it's
everything.
yeah, it's I can see an appeal to this place. It is safe. Um, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, there's this part of me that goes after the freedom that these guys have had, and there is a freedom to the way they were living, and there was an equality to the way they were living, that it would chafe me hard to have to go back into a case system, where
It's gonna be harder for some of the characters than for others.
mhm,
Some of them are more passive anyway.
right.
Those characters might be okay, but oh yeah, like the ones that are the fighters and the ones like for example, when Carol was talking to Daryl and they're like, what do we need to do? Kind of and we're used to coming in and having to help to make things work. And she's like, well, they've been here long before we got here. So
Mhm.
there's really nothing to do. And it's like, that's a real weird spot for them to be in.
Yeah. Well, and then you also have to remember too, I mean, I'm thinking about Ezekiel and, he needs surgery. He's going to die without it. But because he doesn't have the right status, he's probably
I
going to
know.
die.
Oh my gosh. So I have to address Joy's comment because I am with her. How dare you throw out that wine?
I
I
know,
thought
right?
about that when Lance threw that bottle, I mean, that whole case of wine away. I'm like, are you crazy? I could drink that. Like, anyone would drink that. You're wasteful, entitled. That's like, oh, there's more to get. No problem. I can just dump it.
Right. I mean, it's not like they're going to go to the corner liquor store anymore. I mean, I guess that's kind of what Carol did, but you know, there's only so much of the wine of from before,
Right.
you know. So yeah, I don't. But then again, I don't think Lance is the kind of guy that thinks about anyone other than himself. So when he threw out that wine, he wasn't thinking, oh, well, the staff can have
No.
it, or we can put it up for sale. He was pissed because it wasn't the right wine.
I know. He had like a little hissy fit. I'm like, I'm even trying to remember, did he actually stump his foot as he threw it in the garbage? I
He
don't
might
know.
have. He's very petulant.
Yes,
He is a
absolutely.
very pampered, self-centered person. And
Mhm.
and honestly, I think that it's kind of how it is with almost all the upper echelon. They're the the group that's in control. They
Mhm.
really don't think beyond their own comfort. That
Right.
they've set the society up to work, don't get me wrong, but their comfort is coming at the expense of, the masses.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, it's probably better for a lot of them than it was when they were on the outside. It's easier, it's a little softer, but it's certainly not fair. And
Mhm.
I just, I I'm trying to describe the words of how I mean, it's kind of like, you look at Daryl's apartment that he's sharing with the kids. I mean, that is a run down ghetto shack.
Yeah. Yes. It with paper thin walls, according to Rosita. But,
Yes.
Daryl is quick on his feet. He's a fast learner
Yeah.
because, of course, he helps the petulant child look good.
Mhm.
And he gets his uniform and he gets a better place.
Yep.
He
Although,
gets some money.
did you see the look on his face when they opened up the weapon bags, and it's all their weapons. It's
Yeah.
their weapons. His
Yeah.
weapons.
Right.
Rosita's, all of their weapons that they came in, and he's like, "Are you serious?" You know?
I mean, obviously, he knew they weren't going to destroy them. They were going to use them. But I think he was just surprised that they were letting him play with them like it was a toy, like toys.
Oh, yeah. And that kid had no idea what to I mean, he was kinda flipping everything around. "Oh, this is stupid. This is worthless. You can't," he's like, "No, if you just don't, you're gonna hurt yourself." That's
Wasn't
sharp.
he saying like it was advanced combat training or something like that?
Yeah,
I'm
and it
like,
wasn't.
what a fiasco. You were out here playing around with a walker like this is a recessed, recess game. I don't like yikes. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna comment on Aiden's comment when he threw Judah's katana down. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I got mad too. I was a little incensed on that.
He's like,
That
"What is this?" He said something rude about it. I guess it was too thin for him, too skinny.
Mhm, yeah. "Oh, this is a toy."
Yeah.
You know? I want you to know the little girl that held that weapon has killed more walkers than you, you know?
But that stuff doesn't matter, not to him
Yeah,
anyway.
I know.
He's staying true to that I'm a asshole character, that's for sure.
Mhm. So, I mean, you can see that there's a lot of adjusting going on. And most of the group has fallen to the lower strata of things. Carol's a baker, Ezekiel's, working with the farm animals. None of these are considered high priority positions. The only two that um out of the Alexandria group, aside from uh what's her name, the lawyer, they're all pretty much low low on the totem pole. Princess is working at a record store. And
Yeah.
these aren't terrible jobs. I mean, these are jobs that people need, people want.
Well,
Um,
I think that Connie and Kelly are kind of on the cusp, right?
yeah, as
They have
reporters.
jobs reporters, they're journalists, so they have access to the upper echelon, right? If
Mhm.
nothing else. Who knows
Yeah,
what their pay scale looks like, but they have access to all the cool things.
right. And they can go and kind of as they please. Um, I think that they're probably going to start uncovering more of uh the underground, the unhappy people,
Mhm.
and stuff. And you're right, Lou. Princess was happy. She's happy being with people. You know, and working at the record store, lets her be around people. But again, when it comes to access to food, medicine, medical care, anything, anything they considered reserved, she's going to be in the low end of the totem pole. She'll never get the best of anything. And I think Princess is okay with that because that's kind of what her life was before. But at the same time, for a lot of the Alexandrian people who had equity, They were
So
equitable
who
with
do
each
you
other.
think outside of Magna is straight unhappy with their role that they were given?
I don't think Eugene's happy. I
What's
think
his
he's
role?
I don't know what they have him doing,
Because we
honestly.
haven't really seen, so we don't know what his job is yet, right?
Yeah. Um, I don't think that Coco's mom is very
Oh, I
happy.
think that I think she's fine. She's a
I don't
fighter. She liked to scrap. I think she's
Yeah.
fine.
No, I don't it's not that you but when she was having the exchange with Gabriel,
Yeah.
I don't know, there was something in her voice. I mean, she's doing it because she's trying to I think because she wants to move up the social strata for her daughter. Um, but I don't but comments, the things that she has said, she's doing it for a purpose, but not I think she would really in this situation where they're living in a safe place, it would be nice as a mother to be able to have a safe job. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But
I hear what you're saying.
she is choosing to do the more dangerous job because it benefits her daughter the most. It gives them the
Hmm.
higher, access to better apartments, that they're not living in the crack house, you
Not
know.
the crack house. God, good Lord.
Well, come on, look at that place.
Crack house.
Look
Um,
at that place. Paper thin walls and
yeah,
plaster and moldy and come on.
I would call it a slum before I call it a crack house, but yeah, I guess it could be a crack house as well. You're right.
It's not a good place. And so I mean, she doesn't want to raise her daughter there. And
Right.
really, what else has she got? You know what I mean? What else could she possibly do that would get her and her
Honestly, I
daughter
don't
out of there?
remember much about Rosita's
She was
before.
military.
Okay, so she's where she was doing before.
Mhm.
So
But she wasn't a mother before. See what I'm saying?
I don't know why y'all think Rosita is this like maternal, extra maternal
No,
mother.
what I'm saying,
She doesn't.
she
She
isn't, but
doesn't
at the
read that
same
way to
time,
me.
well, what I'm saying is it's one thing to fight when you have to fight, okay? But when you have kids, it changes things. And she is a parent to this child. And they are living in a community where people are eating cookies and having ice cream and cotton candy. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah, and
would
where
be
she's
nice.
picking her child up from her ex who has Bible practice, Bible class. So
Exactly.
absolutely.
So in this position, I mean, I could see her saying, I could see she is following the path that she was on before, but her circumstances have changed. And a lot of these people, it seems that no matter what new skills they learn since, the apocalypse happened, none of that counts as far as the council is concerned, as far as, whoever assigns things. No one is being assigned to what they've learned afterwards. It's all on what they did prior to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Hmm. Well, I mean, honestly, this little pockets of, um, I guess I wouldn't call it happiness, but calmness,
yeah,
it obviously won't last for long.
no. And I think, if I think the comment or I think they have bad plans for Alexandria and Hilltop. This is in the works. Um, so I think once that happens, people are going to be choosing sides.
Hmm. Yeah, I see a little correction. So Rosita was not in the military before. Several people are saying that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a couple people are saying she was just picking up skills from people and
Okay.
learning. So
Okay.
I guess we really don't know what she was doing legitimately before, the apocalypse.
I don't know.
But
I was thinking that had had to God, I was thinking that she had been in basic or something when the apocalypse hit. I thought,
yeah,
but I could be
I
wrong.
don't know. I don't know. That was so long ago. I really
I
don't
know
remember.
it was many many seasons ago,
Mhm. Mhm. Well,
and
let's see. So what else is going on, y'all? Oh, we didn't.
Gabriel's giving it, or not Gabriel, but Ezekiel's giving his things away because he knows he's going to die.
I know. And it's like, now this is what I love about Ezekiel. Like, no matter what is going on, he is going to put on a good front.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
he's not going to wallow in it. He's going to try to make the best of it while he's got the time left, basically. That's what I feel like he's doing.
Mhm.
Um
Well, I mean, he
and
gave away the tiger's chain,
mhm.
the box to Carol,
Yep.
and you know, and Carol was asking the doctor, "Does he know?" Well, not really.
Well, he knows he
But he
needs surgery, but he doesn't
right,
know where he is on the list.
right. So I
Yeah.
think he's made, I think he's done the calculations. He knows how far down on the list he is in this place. In a way, God, that's got to chafe to go from King Ezekiel to you know zookeeper Ezekiel again, or not even zookeeper, just animal farmer, and low man on the totem pole. He used to be a king, um, and
Honestly, I feel like he's fine with it. That was a facade. That wasn't him.
well, I know that, but I mean, as far as I mean, because again, he's down on the list, bottom of the list for
I
everything.
know, which is sad.
It
But,
is sad.
his love Carol is trying to look out for him.
Oh yeah, she'll make whatever deal she thinks she has to make to help him.
And I really like that about them because it's like now that they've had some separation from their son dying, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
She's kind of like she's gotten through a lot of things that she did wrong. She's made her apologies. She's kind of earned her way back. She's regained her
Hmm.
friends. And now I think she's kind of on the other side of the grief.
Yeah.
So it looks like they may be hanging out. They may be making another go at their relationship in some kind of way.
Well, I think because even when she left him, she still loved him,
Yeah,
you know, and he never stopped loving her. And I don't
right.
think Ezekiel's trying to get back with her, but I think he is trying to make peace with her, because he knows that, outside of a miracle, he knows where he's on that list, and he's not going to make it.
Honestly, Carol feels like she probably feels like she owes that to him, right? Let
Probably,
me
yeah.
do what I can to make sure you get that surgery, and I'll do whatever to make it happen. But not that they're actively trying to get back together, but it wouldn't surprise me if they end up back together for some period of time during all of this.
Hmm.
If nothing else, just for closeness and comfort. I don't know. Um, because that scene on the couch was so cute. It was cute.
It
And
was.
yes, Karina said Carol got all up on Zeke on that couch. She did. She cuddled into him with that glass of wine.
She
They
did.
weren't just sitting there.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
again, I mean, she didn't hate him when she left. He didn't hate her.
right.
She was hurt,
Yeah.
you know. And I think, and again, she knows that unless she can somehow figure out some way to get him what he needs, that
Mhm.
he's not going to be around for a lot longer. And I think, there is sadness. Carol has lost a lot,
Oh yeah.
and he was a big comfort to her when they were together.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know that he would try, as things stand right now. I don't think he would try to approach her for a romantic relationship at this point, just because he
Mhm.
wouldn't want to hurt her, you know?
Mm. Mhm.
Because if they got really close again, and his passing would be even harder on her. And he knows
Right.
that.
Yeah. I would agree, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just holding out hope that something good happens for him
Me too.
because I really want him to get the surgery. I
Oh
want
yeah.
her to make that happen for him, but I have a feeling that she's really just going to be jerked around and she's not going to get what she thinks she wants and then she's going to
Mhm.
end up killing what's his face.
Oh yeah. Oh, If he jerks her around and keeps, dangling that treat in
Yes.
front of her and just always
Lance
bringing
is
it just
dead.
out of reach. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that. Like, Lance is going to keep asking for more and more things. And she's like, okay, what about the list? And it'll never get there. And then off with his head kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or eat this cookie. I don't know.
Look at the flowers.
Right. Something.
Something. Well, I mean, because Carol can very much assume that meek, domesticated housewife vibe,
Hmm.
and even bringing that wine, she very much made light of what she did to get it. She
Right.
made no mention of the walkers or anything else. He did mention, "Oh, I see you found a way to get out past the walls without anyone knowing," and she just smiles.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. She's like, I'm not telling anyone my secrets.
exactly. But I don't think he realizes how dangerous she is. Very few people realize how dangerous she is until she wants them to.
Right. And that is like one of the things that has kind of been in Carol's back pocket forever because when we first met her, she was so meek and mild. She
Mhm.
has that routine down,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
She knows how to seem unassuming and kind of sneak around in the background and kind of make herself small. She knows how to do that very well.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I think he's impressed with her because she did manage to get outside the walls, but I
Yeah.
don't think he realizes she's dangerous.
No, I mean, he didn't know she had to kill 3 walkers to get that wine with
Mhm.
one with a corkscrew, with
Yeah,
a, you know?
right. Because generally the dangerous people go into the military because it's the fastest way to move up.
Right.
And she didn't do that. She's baking cookies.
She's like, I'm telling you, she's like the CIA agent.
Mhm.
That's how she operates. She's like, "Oh, I'll just take this unassuming job and be unassuming me, and then when I need to, I'll stab you in the neck."
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
and we all know she's not above killing or threatening children.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly. Oh, yeah, Lulu says Carol is the most savage character left on the show. She took out an entire community on her own and saved the group after she was banished. That is true. Remember
that
that?
is true. Oh, yeah, I do.
She's
Like I
done a
said,
lot of savage things. She woo, she do what need to be done. She don't give a fuck.
yeah,
Even to her
and
own detriment if it hurts her later.
mhm. Well, again, she's, uh, it was commented that Carol's not a fighter. She's not, but I mean, she is a killer.
Right. And that's two different things. Like I
Yeah,
refer to her like a CIA agent.
right.
They're not fighting the wars. They're like they're the killers with precision, right?
Oh, yeah,
They go
absolutely.
in and they do a job. They're not sitting there punching people in the face and carrying guns and backpacks.
Mhm.
That's a different type of fighter.
Yeah, she's
So,
she's a very competent person.
right.
So,
Absolutely. Lord. Okay, I'm looking at these comments. Let me get back.
yeah, I know. I got a little distracted. Sorry, guys. There's a lot
Okay,
coming
so
across.
let's talk about another couple or possible couple.
Yes.
I I'm kind of shipping Mercer and Princess a little bit still.
Mhm. Oh, I
I'm
mean,
feeling it.
yeah, they're interesting together. And I
Yeah.
have noticed that at least in this episode, Princess is not as flamboyant, as we
Uh-huh.
have previously seen her. She's almost, you know, calm and normal. It's a little sad, you know.
Right. Right.
But I think her and Mercer together, is that they are an interesting couple together.
Well, there's some things about Princess when she was out there alone, maybe she was a little batty,
Yeah.
and now that she's been around people for a while, she's kind of settled a little bit.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Um Yeah, I really like her character for some reason. Like, she hasn't really done much of anything except for beat that guy up in the train car
Yeah,
who is
which apparently
now
ruined
paying
his
the price.
life.
Yeah, who is now
And
paying the price for that. But
yeah.
um yeah, I like them. I want to see more of that. And I think Princess has bigger I think they're going to use her in a bigger role. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
She's going to have access to something or something, and they're
Right.
going to need her to do something for our Alexandrians, and she'll do it.
Mhm.
I'm feeling it.
I I am I do hope we see more of the old princess though, because God, I loved her battiness. You know, the just the sheer chaos of her entire personality. And I don't know, I was a little sad this episode to see her so
Normal.
tamed. Yeah, you know, it's like, she's been tamed or
I
domesticated.
mean, but for real though, like if you're working at a record store and you come outside, some kids are buying some records. How are you going to be wild and rowdy?
Well, I mean, but I mean, like, even just her standing there, she's standing there on the stairs to watch the people come in and out, and she sees Mercer, and um, has a little bit of an exchange, but it wasn't. I don't know. I guess I'm
She
just a little.
still got her quirkiness though. Like she had
Yeah.
this little princess, she had a made up what you call that thing tiara on her head.
Oh yeah, I did like the tiara. I
Yeah,
don't know if that
so
was just for Halloween or if she just wears it all the time. I'm hoping she wears it all the time.
it wouldn't surprise me if she wore that mug every day as a part of her outfit.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean,
hope so.
yeah, I feel like she's still got some quirk in there. It's just not as loud right now. Who knows? We might see some of it again when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Oh, someone says not feeling Mercer and Princess as a couple, but I like the characters. They seem polar opposites. But isn't that how all the couples are? Polar opposites. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Like
true. I mean,
Carol
that's
and
kinda
Zeke
where they go.
opposite. Michonne and
Mhm.
Rick opposite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I can't think of any couple on here that well, I mean, Carol and Ezekiel,
yeah.
you know? I mean, when she's doing her Susie Homemaker things, they're more in line, but when Carol's Carol, she
Hmm.
they're polar opposites, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Let's see. This is her. I was trying to get a little close up of her. Oh, it has like seashells and stuff on her
Mhm.
tiara, and it's wire. That's cute.
It is cute. Like I said, I do hope she actually wears it all the time. That would tickle me to death.
And then when they approached the door, they had the nerve to say, "There's a dress code." I'm like, "She looks fine. She don't look like she rolled in out the street. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the problem? She has a dress on.
Well,
Leave her
it's not a
alone.
fancy dress, and she's not in high heels, and
It's
she does
off
have
the
that ridiculous.
shoulder."
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, I think it was more. It wasn't even how she was dressed. I think it was more just she's not our kind.
There's a dress code. They looked at her like, "Bitch, move out the way.
Hmm.
We are entering. That's fine." Well, oh, and I also liked the interactions between Daryl and Connie. I always love their interactions. It's super cute.
Hmm.
Even Carol's like, "Well, ask her to dance," and he's such a no. I have things to do. I'm like, oh,
Hmm. Well, I mean, he was there at the event, but he was there for security. He was
yeah,
not a part of the event.
yeah. I know.
So,
Mm.
although you could tell
What?
that his sign language is definitely improving.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, speaking of Connie, like, did you catch that she apparently, like, before, in the time before, had like got Pamela Milton's uh family kicked out of Congress?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, I caught that little exchange. You
yeah,
know, I bet that makes things a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit. But and that's, I guess, it's the devil kind of thing. That's why Pamela lets her in and talks to her for 2.5 seconds before she like tosses her at the lottery winner.
Yeah. Well, you can see, I mean, at this point, she's keeping her around, keeping her in a place where she knows what she's up to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
And, but you can, you can see how kind of, when the ex-soldier, had the meltdown, she's listening to him. Well, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? To what's going on. The fact
Yeah.
that, he lost everything because of a single mistake. And, the whole fiasco with that, and even just, when she was trying to get the interview, it was like, yeah, 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 whatever. And just, oh, here, I'm going to throw you with this person. And you could tell that she was never going to get that interview that she really wanted,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
No, but she will eventually. She'll corner them or she'll just start interviewing everybody else. Oh, and did you
Hmm.
notice outside it looked like they were handing envelopes of money to people?
Hmm.
Was that for people who were working or was this hush money, don't talk about what you saw inside?
You know, I I don't know. I kind of took it as payment, but I don't know. I was kind of, I'm on the fence about that one.
Mhm. Cuz I'm
It
like
kind of felt like a
Yumiko was
payoff.
out there. Like why would you need an attorney out there standing around while they're handing out money unless it's like, "Hey, sign this non-disclosure. Here's some money."
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. It didn't have the feel of, this is your paycheck kind of thing.
Right.
So,
Uh, what a mess.
I mean, you could tell the old, it's going back to exactly the way it was before, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I want to talk about the guy who lost his mind a little bit, the soldier. I felt
Mhm.
bad about him because honestly, I'm like, in what? Okay, now I am not military, so I don't know. But I'd like to think that because someone gets the drop on you, you're not completely just kicked out, like on your ass. Like, doesn't that happen sometimes? Like, if you're in a war or fighting, someone just gets the better of you. Does that mean you're kicked out?
I believe that they look at this as a zero-sum game. Either
Oh,
you're good enough to win every single time, or
mm-hmm.
you're out.
Hmm. Which is
And
weird, being that they were, that Mercer was all talking about, oh, kind of like helping others win. I'm like, but
mhm.
y'all just kick people out. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, from their point of view, he got beat up by a girl,
I know.
a little tiny girl even.
I know.
So I mean, they're probably, I mean, again, a lot of some of these people have been there since the very beginning. So they're still very much immersed in the old world, the old way of seeing things, the old way of doing things. Um, and I really think it comes down to the fact that all they could see was the fact that he got his ass kicked, by a 5 foot nothing girl, in a bright pink coat, calling herself princess, who was obviously cracked, you
Mhm.
know, and I don't think they, if he's going to get beat up by a little girl, then what possible use could he be for us, to save us from walkers and such, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was wild. So, that you're down to nothing. Like I can understand you being like on some kind of punishment or some kind of like disciplinary action for a couple of weeks or months. I don't know. But just to totally lose everything, like that guy was crumbling. He was really going to kill himself.
Hmm. He was, I mean, and he said, there, we are not happy. The haves and the have-nots is, that there's too sharp a line, you
Hmm.
know, And, all the fancy food, the fancy wines, the parties, that's for a very small select few,
Mhm.
and everything else, everyone else is getting the leftovers.
Yeah.
And it's, and I don't think anything there is really fair. Nothing seems fair. It just is.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't like that though. But that's gonna either kickstart something, and I bet honestly, I bet Magna does know how he got in. I bet she knows a lot more than what she's saying.
I don't know.
And
She, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Magna,
yeah.
probably.
And
I mean, as far
she's not
she could be
about
part
that
of the
life.
resistance. She could be
Right.
part of the resistance.
She could be. She would find it real quick and jump on board with a quickness, probably.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
and
mean, that
again,
was kind of weird though when she served her ex girlfriend the wine.
yeah.
Like, ouch.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I mean, there's a lot of this to me is cringeworthy. And based, if we look around our society now and we look at this, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's okay. It's pretty much like it is now. Um,
Yeah.
but again, I mean, these are people that have been living very equitably. It was share and share alike. It was, tasks were equally shared, and rewards were equally shared, and the well-being of each other was always paramount. And that's not how this place is. I mean, they will
Girl, look,
protect you.
Americans don't
What?
want socialism. Did you miss that message? They don't want fairness, even in the apocalypse. They don't care.
Yeah, I know.
They, they like, screw that. We want our stuff.
Yeah. We want our
That's
we,
it.
we want our structure,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I love that Aiden brought up the haunted maze at the beginning.
Mhm.
Oh, that was fun. I'm like, but they are so disconnected. They've been so far removed from the danger of the walkers, or whatever, what do they call them in their town? They call them, I don't remember. They call them something else other than walkers,
Fighters?
but no, not biters. It was something else. Y'all,
Yeah.
they'll tell us in the comments.
Okay.
But they are so far removed from that they can actually have a haunted like house with them in there. Like, it's a joke. Rotters. There we go. Thank you
Yeah, that's
guys.
it. Thank you.
So that's so wild to me that this is like the world you live in still. It's not over, but
Mhm.
yet you think you're so secure and safe that you can like almost make a joke of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we do tend to scare ourselves with things that are possible, but even if unlikely. And, there are serial killers out there, and yet we will voluntarily, go to these scary horror movies and things like that. So, there's a human need to take our fears and try to conquer them in a safe way, and that's kind of what that maze was. It's a haunted
Yeah.
house.
But they're doing a disservice because, like, for example, what was that last episode? We saw them overwhelmed with walkers, right?
Mhm.
They were everywhere. And we're like, where'd all these walkers come from? This is not a distant memory. This is not a random ass serial killer that you may never come across. These
Right.
things are everywhere. Like, they should be having some kind of like minimal training. They should have a healthy fear of them. Instead, the kids are like, oh, I'm scared. Ha ha ha. They probably will get bit or eaten or whatever.
Well, I for most of the inhabitants there, it is a distant memory. It really is only the new people, the Alexandrians and whatever other new people they may have brought in.
Yeah.
It's only immediate for them. Um, and really, I mean, you can see, that Judith was unsettled by it.
Mm-hmm.
And even Um, even Daryl was unsettled by it.
Yeah, he looked uncomfortable. He's like, "Okay, enough.
Yeah, we've had enough.
We're
This is
done.
enough.
We're
Yeah.
done now. Thank you."
And again, I
Yeah.
mean, from Judith, I mean, Judith has been brave, but I mean, again, that last battle, I mean, she was stuck in a basement and she lost her sword, and surrounded by walkers, and I mean, it was that was traumatic for her, and the
I
fact that
mean,
she doesn't have any weapons anymore. I'm sure that there's a part of her
I
that
know.
that must be very unsettling. She has had that weapon probably since she could crawl, almost. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
And you know what? Honestly, it was probably good that she didn't have a weapon in there because her
Yeah.
reaction might have been to stab him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
sometimes you're like, okay, yes, I know this is fake. I know it's not real, but this guy's creeping me out. And
Hmm.
my gut reaction is to just stab him. So I don't know. That's wild.
Yeah. Like
I
I
just
said, I
think it's
mean,
too soon. It's too soon.
yeah. I mean, for Judith, this you can see that she likes it there, but you can also see that she's a little off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it is that sword has been a part of her for forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like a security blanket. It's there's she probably feels safe in some ways and unsafe in others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but she wants to stay.
Okay, look, Joy says, "Oh, funny. That's why I don't go into haunted houses in real life. I'll forget and punch someone."
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, see, like that reaction.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't like haunted houses. They do
Yeah.
nothing for me.
Yeah, same. I
So
don't
I even in the apocalypse, if I was offered to go through one, I still wouldn't.
mhm. Mhm. That's hilarious. All right. What else should we cover? I feel like okay, we talked about Princess, we talked about Connie and Kelly, we talked about Carol, we talked about Zeke, we talked about Daryl and Rosita. Oh, let's talk about their training. We
Okay.
didn't talk about their training like in the house, right?
Hmm.
Um the fact that, Daryl asked, "Let me get paired with Rosita," basically, and he's like, Mercer's like, "No, sit
I didn't
down."
ask you who you wanted to be
Right.
with. You know.
Like, shut up. I didn't ask your opinion. This is what we're doing. What was the goal? To get through there quickly
Hmm.
and
As a team.
to as a team. And Rosita was able to do that with her partner by passing the knife back and forth. They kind of got a routine
Hmm.
and they were able to get through it. Daryl, I think, works great with people he's fought with and has developed a relationship with and that he trusts because he knows they can handle themselves. So I think that him handing that guy the knife was
Hmm.
like him showing like, hey, you do that, I'll do this. And the guy couldn't handle himself.
Right. Well, and I mean, I'm sure Daryl made the assumption that if he has gotten to this part of the point in their training, then
Hmm.
he should be able to handle himself.
Right.
So when he handed him that knife, he assumed he had given him everything he needed to make it. And Daryl's improvising. He's using a brick, he's using a
Right.
piece of, rebar, so on and so
Yep.
forth. And he's killing the walkers. So the fact that the other guy had the knife, it probably never crossed his mind that this kid was going to be in danger. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
Or if he was, like Daryl says, I was right here. I was coming around.
I know. He's like, why'd you do that? He's gonna be fine. I'm right here. Yeah.
Hmm. And
But he still failed because I think Mercer basically told him that he missed the spirit of you know, the exercise,
which was to
which
work
was
together.
teamwork.
Right.
Right.
And, you know, he was going through and clearing out people as fast as he could.
Mhm.
You go ahead. I got your back, so to
Right.
speak. And in most situations, in real life situations, that should have been good.
Right.
and especially if he had been with like Rosita, or if he had been with anybody that he has fought with before. But Daryl didn't adapt well to not knowing, making an assumption that this kid could take care of himself.
Right. Exactly. So that was interesting. I feel like, do you think that Mercer will kind of take Daryl under his wing? Do you think that he'll climb the ranks faster because of Mercer?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
even though he failed him in this particular exercise, he
Yeah.
can see Daryl's worth.
Mhm.
So Daryl's not really a good team player, but he is a good leader. And you don't need to be a team player to be a good leader. You know,
Mhm.
Rosita can be
Mhm.
a good team player, um,
Right.
but she doesn't always make the best leader.
Right.
So yeah, I think Mercer is very aware of Daryl's abilities and his shortfalls. And
Yes.
it's not that Daryl can't work with people. He absolutely can. Um, but in a new situation with a new person, he's probably not, for what they were having him do, that specific exercises was not a good strength for him.
Right. But then Daryl turns around and shows Mercer through his actions that he can take correction, right? So Mercer told him about like helping others win, and then he
Right,
turns around and helps Sebastian, his weak ass. But he does it, and it ends up benefiting him in the long
right.
run. So,
I gotta tell you, I couldn't have done that.
no.
uh I couldn't have. I'm sorry, Sebastian's such a douche. um
Yeah,
and I know that this is a case scenario where Sebastian will always fail upwards. No matter what happens, he will fail
right.
upwards.
Mhm.
Um, and everyone is just supposed to jolly this kid along, and pretend like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but so yeah, I know why Daryl did it, but I don't think I could have.
Let's
He's a
see.
douche.
He is. Let's see, that was the wrong comment. Here we go. Rebecca says Daryl is not a great leader. He's good at navigating through the woods and getting out of jams.
Yeah, but he has been in leadership roles,
Mhm.
sporadically. It's not his preferred position. He prefers to be a scout as opposed to a
Right.
leader. Um, but when
And
he
he's a great
needs to be
second. He's a great or
lieutenant,
first, you want him on your right shoulder.
yeah, he's a great lieutenant.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Oh, someone say Daryl is good for messing up.
Messing up.
What? Oh no. Anyway, okay, Lisa, what do you think? Are there any other things that we missed or should cover for this episode?
No, I mean, pretty much right now we're establishing where most people's baseline. Although I did find it curious that we didn't see Eugene once in this episode.
No, I'm sure we'll see him next episode.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think this episode, while there was a lot going on, it was mostly here to establish everyone's baseline in the
Mhm.
new in the new world order here.
Right. Yeah, and they did that. We got day
Hmm.
30 and day 33, right?
Yeah, we got to
So I
put on the
guess as we
uniform.
go forward, we'll just keep going forward in the timeline until we catch up.
Hmm.
Mm. All right, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next. Um, but I think we should end there. What do you think, Lisa?
I think we're about done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in live. We appreciate you being here, commenting, and chatting in the little chat area. It's always fun to see your comments. We appreciate that. And if you are listening on the replay, we appreciate you for streaming this episode as well. Um, it's been a good time. And of course, we'll be back next week. So get excited, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitter or Instagram so you don't forget our next episode. And we will see you
Mhm.
then. All right, everybody, take care. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.